During World War II, the government opened hundreds of federally and locally funded childcare centers. However, this support vanished when the war ended, as women were expected to go home and care for their children. From the government's perspective, there was simply no longer a need. This was over 77 years ago, and notably, the last time the U.S. had something resembling universal childcare. Currently, the United States is experiencing a massive childcare crisis.
I think what's striking and important to understand is that the crisis we're talking about today in the broken system didn't just break from COVID or just didn't break after the recession in 2010, but really has been more or less broken from the get-go.
Unlike most developed countries, there is no national childcare system to fall back on. Families can't afford childcare centers can't afford to keep their centers open, and childcare workers can't afford to work at the centers. All of these factors have created the ultimate paradox. Addressing the childcare crisis must be Congress's first priority.
As a business owner, you have to pay for rent, you have to pay for all the money that require to provide a quality setting and provide teachers a salary that they will be able to survive, really.
Since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, over 12,000 childcare centers have shut down. This is in major part due to the fact that running a childcare center is exorbitant. There's no room to cut corners. Teachers play, unarguably, the most essential role in sustaining a quality childcare center. Yet business owners are finding it increasingly difficult to pay their workers a living salary, pushing many teachers out of the profession. According to the New York Times, 29% of childcare workers experience food insecurity, and childcare pays less than 98% of other professions.
I try to pay them as much as I can, but I cannot provide them benefits. So think about it. A pandemic, if I get sick, I don't have health benefits, how am I going to work? Who's going to pay for my bills?
Now what's happening as early childhood teachers or childcare workers are often leaving their jobs in childcare to go work at Target or Starbucks or Amazon or these other places, which is not necessarily the work they want to do, but it's work where they can support themselves and their family and get better benefits. So
this shortage of childcare workers has led to a nightmare for parents when it comes to finding quality childcare for their kid. According to the New York Times, the childcare sector is operating at 88% of its pre-pandemic capacity.
I would say it's always been a crisis. It's just that now we're paying attention. But the reality is the United States has not put money into childcare for years. And so it's not new that people are struggling to find childcare.
A podcast from NPR shows that 34% of parents struggle to find childcare for their children. The law of supply and demand in economics is a well-known model. When there's a high demand and low supply, prices tend to skyrocket.
In 2011, a family that was below the poverty line could expect to pay about 30% of their monthly family income on childcare. So childcare continues to be a burden for low-income families, and this has been a historical trend that we've seen from about the 1980s.
Because childcare is so expensive, many parents choose to not send their children to childcare and to instead stay home.
We are living in 2022. And we still having the problem that women have to give up dreams, work, and opportunities because they don't have the resources from the state or from the government to be able to take their kids to take care of them in a quality setting.
Another key issue is that due to childcare centers receiving almost no financial assistance from the government, they rely on tuition for almost all of their budget. So when parents don't send their kids to childcare or childcare centers have to reduce how many kids they take, their budget decreases significantly, bringing it back to the beginning of the problem, how expensive it is to run a childcare center with limited funds. The government has floundered when it comes to investing in childcare, largely for the belief that childcare is a private family matter, one that the government has no place in, that one parent, the woman, should stay home and take care of the children. The reality is vastly different than this ideal. Economies flourish with more women in the workplace, and investing in childcare pays off in the long run.
The evidence is clear. It's past time we invest in childcare as the public good we know it is, and build a stronger, more equitable system for current and future generations. We all benefit when we give our children the best possible start in life.
Providing social emotional foundation for children at a young age, we will have such a big impact because we can provide that. This parent has to work and we have teachers who do that. What a beautiful world will be, huh?